found yourself just swimming in market data, trying to figure out what's really driving a stock, beyond all the headlines and the noise?
Yeah, it can feel pretty overwhelming sometimes.
Well, that's what we're here for. Welcome to D-Risk, a podcast where we provide a no-nonsense analysis of stocks. Today, we're doing a deep dive into advanced micro devices, or, well, AMD. It's a name that's just been absolutely buzzing everywhere, not just in gaming rigs, but, right at the heart of this whole AI revolution. It's a company that seems positioned right at the forefront. But the big question, really, is what's the definitive play for you right now?
And that's exactly our mission with this deep dive. We've done the digging, unpacked our comprehensive research, and we want to reveal that definitive play. And, well, after sifting through everything, our conclusion is a resounding hold. But, importantly, with a bullish lean.
Okay, hold with a bullish lean. That's a clear signal. And we're not just going to tell you what the recommendation is, right? We'll break down the why. We'll dive into their financials, their market position, all the innovation, industry trends, and yeah, even the technical charts. It's all based on the research we've just wrapped up for you.
Right.
So let's start with the basics. Who exactly is AMD? Beyond just that name we hear everywhere.
Right. Well, our research paints a picture of a global semiconductor powerhouse. They're really far beyond just making basic computer chips these days.
Right.
They operate across 4 really key segments: data centers, client computing, that's like your PCs, gaming, and embedded systems.
So pretty wide reach then.
Absolutely. They're producing everything from AI accelerators, which are, fundamental now, to the x86 microprocessors we know, powerful GPUs, standalone or integrated.
Right, like the Ryzen processors or Radeon graphics. I think most people have heard of those.
Definitely. Those are key brands. AMD Ryzen, AMD Radeon, and also AMD EPYC server microprocessors. Those are huge in cloud computing.
The backbone, really.
Yeah, literally. And they even do specialized stuff like FPGA products, Vertex, Spartan, and adaptive SoCs like Zinc and Versal. It shows real breadth.
Okay, so understanding the business is one thing, but how does that translate to the bottom line, the financials?
That's where it gets fascinating. What really stands out from our analysis is the resilience AMD has shown. Looking at annual revenue, say from 2021 to 2024, there's a compelling story. Strong growth from 21 to 22 jumped about 43.6% up to $23.6 billion.
Oh, okay.
Then 2023 saw a slight dip, just under 4%, down to $22.7 billion.
Yeah.
But then 2024 bounced back strong, 13.7% growth, hitting $25.9 billion.
So bit of a blip in 23, but back on track.
Seems like it. And quarterly, 2024 showed consistent growth too. Started at $5.5 billion in Q1, peaked at $7.7 billion in Q4. Now there is a slight dip in Q1 2025, down about 2.9% to $7.4 billion.
Okay.
But our research suggests this is likely just a short-term thing, maybe seasonal, after such a strong run.
Right, that makes sense. And what about profitability? Because revenue is one thing, but making money is another.
Exactly. And what's really encouraging from our research is this clear trend of improving profitability. Take their gross margin. After a slight dip in 2022, down to 45%, it recovered to 46% in 23, and then improved nicely to 49.3% in 2024.
Okay, nearly 50%. That tells you something, right? Like better pricing power or cost control?
Precisely. Or maybe a bit of both. And similarly, the EBITDA margin, that's a good measure of operational profitability, it did decline between 2021 and 2023, but it showed a solid recovery to over 20% in 2024.
Good sign.
But here's where you really see them kind of getting their groove back. Net income.
Okay.
It dropped quite a bit from $3.2 billion in 21 down to just $854 million in 23. EPS went from $2.60 down to 50 cents.
Ouch.
Yeah. But then 2024 saw a substantial rebound. $1.6 billion in net income, $1 EPS. That's a powerful turnaround.
Definitely a turnaround story brewing there.
Yeah.
Now, did the research flag anything to be cautious about? Any red flag?
Yes, it did. And it's important to acknowledge those, but also put them in context. We saw some, extreme volatility in their tax rates, both annually and quarterly.
Oh, extreme.
Like negative rates. Negative 10.3% in 2022, even never at 70.3% in 2023.
Whoa, negative tax rates. What does that usually mean?
It often points to things like one-time benefits, maybe deferred tax adjustments, but that kind of volatility is a flag because it makes it really hard to gauge the true underlying profitability consistently. You really need to dig into the footnotes.
Got it. Something to watch. Anything else?
There was also a sharp operating margin decline. From over 22% in 2021, it went all the way down to just 1.8% in 2023.
That's a big drop.
It is. But, and this is the crucial part, the recovery back up to 8% in 2024 shows they can overcome challenges and improve efficiency. So yes, points to monitor definitely. But our analysis suggests they're outweighed by that positive rebound we're seeing now.
Okay, let's zoom out then. How does AMD stack up against, the big guys? Like NVIDIA or just the broader semiconductor average? This is as of early July 2025 based on our research.
Right, context is key. NVIDIA is, well, it's in its own stratosphere valuation-wise, multi-trillions. But AMD is still a very significant player, enterprise value around $227.5 billion, market cap about $223.6 billion.
So a major force. What about valuation metrics, PE ratios, and things like that?
Okay, here's where it gets interesting. AMD's trailing PE is high, like 100.7.
Wow, that's much higher than NVIDIA's 51 or the industry average around 57. What's that signal?
It signals strong market expectations, right? Big hopes for future earnings growth, especially with their focus on AI and data centers.
Okay, but what about forward PE, looking ahead?
That's the interesting part. The forward PE is much more reasonable, around 27. That's actually pretty close to the industry average of 28.4 and lower than NVIDIA's 38.7.
So the market expects earnings to catch up significantly, or profitability to surge.
Exactly. That gap between trailing and forward PE suggests a big earnings recovery or jump in profitability is anticipated. Makes it an interesting potential entry point for growth investors, perhaps.
What about other metrics, like comparing value to revenue?
Yeah, looking at EV revenue and pre-sales, AMD is at about 8.2 and 8.1 respectively.
And how does that compare?
It's actually below the industry averages, which are over 9 and 11, and significantly lower than NVIDIA's numbers, which are up in the mid-20s.
So what does that imply? More bang for your buck in terms of revenue generation?
Potentially, yes. It suggests AMD generates more revenue per unit of enterprise value. You could argue it positions AMD as maybe a value-oriented growth play within the sector.
Interesting angle. Did the research mention free cash flow? FCF?
It's worth noting that specific FCF data or multiples weren't prominent in this particular research cut. Now, that might seem odd.
Yeah, usually you look for that.
Right, but it's actually pretty common in industries like semiconductors. They're so capital intensive, so R&D heavy. Companies often reinvest heavily back into the business, into innovation, rather than showing huge immediate free cash flows. It's often a sign they're prioritizing future growth.
And that focus on reinvestment and innovation.
Yeah.
It seems like AMD is definitely delivering there. Our research showed they haven't been sitting still.
Not at all. Just look at the last 3 months. April, May, June 2025. It's been a whirlwind of activity.
Like at Computex in May.
Exactly. They unveiled the Radeon RX 9060 XT and the Radeon AI PRO 9700 graphics cards. New AMD RDNA 4 architecture. Promising, amazing 1440p gaming, but also really powerful AI capabilities.
And it wasn't just graphics cards, right? Processors too.
Absolutely. They dropped the new Ryzen Threadripper 9000 series. These are beasts for high-end desktops, workstations. The flagship, the PRO 9995WX, get this, up to 96 CPU cores, 192 threads.
Wow.
Built on their cutting-edge 4-nanometer Zen 5 architecture. That's a massive leap for really demanding computing tasks.
Pushing the boundaries there. And then there was an AI event in June.
Right, their Advancing AI 2025 event. They showcased the Instinct M3350 series GPUs, claiming a massive 4x generation leap in AI compute. That's huge for generative AI high-performance computing.
4 times leap.
Yeah, and they even previewed what's next, the Helios AI rack. That'll feature the M1400 series GPUs and the next-gen Zen 6-based EKYC CPUs, codenamed Venice. They're really building out that AI infrastructure roadmap.
And speaking of Venice,
Yeah.
there was a big milestone there too, wasn't there, back in April?
Yes, absolutely crucial point from our research. That next-gen EPYC processor, Ven, became the first HPC product in the entire industry to be taped out on TSMC's really advanced 2-nanometer process technology. N2, they call it.
Tape out means they've basically finalized the design for manufacturing.
Pretty much, yeah. It means they're on track to launch this cutting-edge product next year. It's a huge signal of their innovation pace and a direct challenge to competitors in the data center space.
Okay, so connecting all this innovation back to the bigger picture, what's the latest company and sector news telling us?
Well, our research highlights AMD actively expanding its role in AI, even beyond just selling chips. Like, they're supplying chips to that Saudi AI startup, Humane.
Interesting diversification.
And the company itself is forecasting stronger demand across basically all its businesses in 2025, especially strong for data center and client, with more modest increases expected in gaming and embedded.
So the demand picture looks good. How are they navigating the sort of broader industry shifts? AI demand is reshaping everything.
Fundamentally, yes. That escalating AI demand is driving the whole semiconductor industry. AMD and NVIDIA are right at the center, supplying those critical chips. But there are headwinds.
Like geopolitics, China.
Exactly. Trade relations, specifically potential new restrictions from the Trump administration on high-end processor exports to China. That creates pressure, potential for rising costs.
How's AMD handling that?
Well, the research suggests they seem to be navigating it pretty effectively, largely thanks to that diverse product portfolio we talked about. It gives them some resilience against these external pressures.
Okay, let's pivot to the charts then, the price action itself. What did our research show for the last 3 months, say early April to early July 2025?
Right, looking at the price movement, there was some volatility early on. In April, it dropped from around $85 down to $78,
Oof.
but it bounced back quickly into the mid-$90. And after that, it entered a really clear bullish trend, just steadily climbing.
Like late May through June.
Yeah, charts show really strong upward momentum then. Broke past previous highs. It actually peaked above $140 in late June, early July.
Okay.
Then a slight pullback. Back into the high 130.30s, suggests maybe some short-term resistance kicked in or just people taking profits after that big run-up.
Makes sense. But overall, the trend looks robustly bullish just from the price.
Very clear bullish sentiment from the price action alone, yes.
So let's dive into the technical indicators from the research.
Yeah.
As of July 5th, what are they telling us? Do they confirm that bullishness?
It's a bit of a mixed picture in the very short term, but generally positive, which supports that hold with a bullish lean. Take the awesome oscillator.
Okay.
It's been positive, showing bullish momentum since mid-May. Strong upward trend mid-June. But the very last few bars show a slight decrease. So the trend is bullish, but maybe wait for confirmation that the strong upward push is continuing.
Okay, what about MACD?
The MACD line, that's moving average convergence divergence, it actually recently crossed below its signal line. It's trending down slightly, though still above the zero line.
So that suggests
Potential for decreasing momentum in the very short term. Again, reinforcing maybe a wait and see or wait for confirmation stance right now.
and the candlestick chart itself.
Clear uptrend, mostly green candles, but those recent red ones around the $135, $140 level, they suggest that resistance or profit taking we mentioned. So overall trend, bullish. Very short-term signal. Maybe hold neutral or wait for confirmation.
What about RSI? Relative Strength Index, was it overbought?
It was. It peaked near 80 in late June, which is definitely overbought territory. It's pulled back since then, down to the mid-60s. That sharp decline from the peak suggests maybe a neutral to even slightly bearish momentum shift in the immediate term after being stretched.
Okay, so some indicators suggesting a pause or pullback. What about others? Bollinger Bands, comma.
Right. Bollinger Bands show the price trending up, mostly in the upper half. The bands were expanding, signaling volatility, but the price stayed near the upper band. That's generally seen as bullish.
In comma, Kaufman's Adaptive Moving Average.
Comma shows a clear bullish trend too, acting as dynamic support. The price pulled back slightly, but seems to have consolidated just above that comma line, around $138, $140. So again, overall trend bullish, but maybe hold neutral or wait for confirmation in the immediate short term while it tests that support.
So a mix of signals short-term, but the bigger trend seems intact.
Yeah.
What are the pros saying? Analyst recommendations from the research.
Oh, this is overwhelmingly clear. The charts we analyzed, going back to 2013 right up to mid-2025, they are just dominated by outperform buy recommendations.
Really? Like nearly all of them?
Often close to 100%. Neutral hold ratings are rare. Sell ratings, almost non-existent. And especially in the most recent period, say late 2023 through now, it's almost exclusively outperform buy.
That sounds like a very strong consensus.
It suggests a strengthening or at least a sustained, highly bullish consensus among analysts. It really points to an overall bullish trends perception in the market. Strong validation.
Okay, so let's tie it all together. After digging through all this research, the financials, the innovation, the market, the charts, the analysts, what does this all mean for you, our D-Risk listener?
It brings us back to our final recommendation, derived directly from that research. It's a whole D,
Right.
but with a clear bullish lean for AMD right now.
Okay, and can you just distill the top reasons for that? Hold with a bullish lane based on the research?
Sure. Top 2 or 3 reasons. First, that strong financial rebound and clear growth trajectory. Despite some past bumps, AMD is projecting a really substantial rebound in revenue and profitability for 2024, driven by data center and client demand. It shows a company recovering well and really poised for more growth.
Makes sense. Reason 2.
Second, strategic positioning. They're right in the sweet spot of high-growth AI and data center markets. All that investment, the cutting-edge product launches, we talked about AI accelerators, next-gen CPUs, it puts them directly in the path of these booming sectors. That's a huge long-term tailwind.
Right, riding that massive wave. And third,
the positive momentum combined with that analyst confidence. The price trend is robustly bullish, mostly confirmed by the technicals, despite short-term noise. And you couple that with the overwhelming buy ratings, it just indicates strong market confidence in their future.
okay, compelling case. But we always need to consider the risks,
Yeah.
right? What did the research highlight there?
Absolutely. Need to be aware of the risks. Remember those volatile tax rates? They definitely complicate comparisons of net income, make it harder to gauge underlying profitability consistently. So keep an eye on that in their reports.
Okay.
Also, that slight sequential dip in revenue and operating margin in Q1 2025 versus Q4 2024. Likely seasonal, but still something you'd want to monitor,
Right.
just to make sure it's not the start of a slowdown.
And competition?
Always. Intense competition from NVIDIA is just a constant reality in this space. Market share, innovation, it's a continuous battle.
And the free cash flow point.
And yeah, the absence of clear, easy-to-find free cash flow data in our immediate research cut means if you're making, say, long-term investment decisions, you might want to dig a bit deeper into their cash generation using other filings. FCF is just a key measure of cash available for shareholders.
Got it. So bringing it all home, actionable next steps from the research. What should you do now?
Okay, based on our analysis, here's the breakdown. If you're already holding AMD,
Yeah.
our research suggests hold your position. The underlying trend is bullish. The company looks well positioned. Don't get shaken out by short-term noise.
Okay. And if you're looking to enter, thinking about buying.
This is where we'd advise caution right now.
Yeah.
We strongly recommend you exercise patience and look for confirmation.
Why? Because of the recent rally and pullback.
Exactly. The stock had a huge run-up, and now it's showing these short-term signs of consolidation, maybe profit-taking. So from a smart risk management view, look for a clear breakout above those recent highs, say, get convincingly above $142, maybe $148. Or wait for a confirmed bounce off a key support level, like that comma line we mentioned, currently around $138 or $140.
So wait for the dust to settle a bit.
Precisely. Wait for confirmation before making new long entries. It just helps reduce risk and potentially lets you enter at a more opportune moment.
And that's our deep dive into AMD. We really hope this approach, cutting through the noise using our comprehensive research, helps you feel genuinely informed with clear, actionable insights for whatever you decide.
And just a reminder, of course, this deep dive is for informational purposes only. It's not financial advice. Always, always do your own thorough research, or better yet, consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for tuning in to the deep dive. We really appreciate you being with us, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive into the markets.